look at people going to get a haircut in places like Georgia, and I think I find a pattern. And the pattern seems to be that where Republicans and conservatives are in power, people have more freedom than where progressives, leftists, and Democrats are in power. Now, even if you're progressive, you can't deny that. You can only say, and they do, that it's a death trap. Who was the New York Times? They're all interchangeable, but who was the New York Times columnist? All but 2 or 3 out of the 40 or so who write that Georgia is what was it again? Oh, no, Republicans are the party of death. Paul Krugman. No, wasn't Paul Krugman? Okay. Take it back. It was a Paul Krugman clone. Georgia's doing fine. The governor of California has asked for massive funds from the federal government. So all of you listening outside of California, Timothy Egan, yes, that's right. All of you who are listening to me from outside of California, and you know what Californians, or at least what the progressives think of you in the middle of the country, that you are fools and boobs and primitives and rednecks. You are to pay for California's destruction of its economy. Isn't that? And he calls it moral. He couches it in values languages. I ruined my state single-handedly. It's very rare that one could say that, with the help of people like Eric Garcetti in Los Angeles. And you will pay for our destruction. Isn't that cool? And that is what he defines as values. It's all, unfortunately, it's all media driven. From the hysteria to the defense of the Democrats. There is no difference between the New York Times and the Democratic Party, or the Washington Post, or the LA Times, etc. There is no difference. If you subscribe to Democratic Party handouts, as I do, and you said to me, was that given out by the Democratic Party or was that given out by the New York Times, I would just have to flip a coin. There would be no way to know. Is there going to be a rally in the Los Angeles area? I announced the Harrisburg rally. Is that for today? Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This Governor Wolf. Whoa, he's intoxicated with his power. He will, if you open up your store to survive, literally to economically survive, to feed, literally, this is not one of these lines, feed your family, you will lose your license to operate your business. See, this is another thing that Americans have to become aware of. Sounds right, and in many cases, in some cases it is right. This restaurant is licensed. They serve liquor, it's licensed. Well, let me tell you something. It comes with a price. When you make a deal with the devil, bad things happen. And to a large extent, not entirely at all, there are good things government does. How could there not be good things it does? Anyway, there's no group that doesn't do any good. But by and large, the record of big government is a bad record. The genocide was only made possible by big government. People forget that. They talk about assessing Christians in the Middle Ages. Oh, they had these, they slaughtered one another and so on. The big government slaughtered one another. Why is it okay to judge Christian history by slaughtering, but not big government history by slaughtering? But the biggest, I'm telling you, if you live long enough, you enter the divine realm of Groundhog Day. I told you my new theory. God, I don't know how God stays interested. It's Groundhog Day for God. People just make the same mistake. Next generation, okay, make the same mistake because we don't teach wisdom. Wisdom is not to make the same mistakes as were made earlier. So I lived through the Cold War with the Soviet Union. And remember, what the left was anti-communist. They hated Reagan more than they hated, was it Brezhnev in power then? I know Gorbachev came into power with Reagan. When did Brezhnev die? I know I was in the Soviet Union when Brezhnev was the head. He was the head for a very long time. Anyway, whoever the Soviet leader was much less hated by the American left. 1982. And Reagan was elected. Oh, so fine. So I was right. They hated Gorbachev. They hated Reagan more than they hated Gorbachev. So now the next communist superpower is China, run by totalitarian tyrants, just like the Soviet Union was. And the left is anti-communist again. There's article after article. Here, USA Today, coronavirus and xenophobia. Get it? To hate the communist regime of communist China is to engage in xenophobia. This is a USA Today article. Coronavirus and xenophobia. Blame China is Trump's 2020 version of Build This Wall. By the way, what was wrong with Build the Wall? Huh? As the 2020 campaign comes into focus, Trump is looking to recreate his success by refreshing his xenophobic rhetoric and channeling it toward China. So is Hong Kong xenophobic? Is Taiwan xenophobic? They hate the communist Chinese regime, and they're Chinese. Are the Tibetans xenophobic? God, the intellectual level of the left is so low. It's a debate between their moral level and their intellectual level. Trump and his Republican enablers are now offering the country what amounts to a remix of 2016, this time replacing Mexico with China. On April 18th, the president tweeted, "China wants Sleepy Joe so badly. They want all of those billions of dollars that they've been paying to the U.S. back and much more. Joe is an easy mark, their dream candidate." He's right. It's exactly correct. See, they don't take on the president's tweets. They just assume the reader agrees with them that they're unworthy of actually responding to. They do that to everybody. The left smears. It doesn't respond. Read my last column. During her first White House news briefing, spokeswoman Kayleigh McEnany reiterated the president's, quote, displeasure with China, unquote, and defended his statement that he has a high degree of confidence that the coronavirus originated in a laboratory in Wuhan, China, directly contradicting an on-the-record statement from his own intelligence community. There's no link to anything. The intelligence community has said we know that it did not develop in the Wuhan lab. Do you know of that? Really? What do they believe it did? It came from a wet market? Well, it's either a wet market, it's certainly Wuhan. They agree with that? I don't know. Maybe it came from the Wuhan Chess Club. That's it. That's it.